I think it's safe to say that the generation that began with the turn of the newest century is not necessarily normal.
What do I do?
While the 90s kids were the internauts, bravely going where no children had gone before and establishing communities and forums still used today, Gen Z was the first generation of kids to grow up in a thriving internet age. As a result of the massive presence of the internet, as well as many of us having parents not fully versed in the dangers of the digital Wild West, many Zoomers grew up under the influence of digital culture, and nowhere is this more prominent than in what I've decided to call the Gen Z gaming experience. What is this experience, though? What makes gamers from our generation so much different from those of the 80s and the 90s? The answer to these questions lies in the massive trends of the early 20-teens and the rise of YouTube gaming. But before we can get to that, I need to talk about the 2000s. I remember the Christmas of 2009 very well. It was the day that my brother and I both excitedly unwrapped Nintendo DS Lites and a few games. Most of them were shovelware, as the DS was already a few years into its lifespan, and my parents, bless them, didn't really know what to get us. They did get us one game that we both fell in love with, though. New Super Mario Bros. This game was the shit. Intuitive levels that challenged 7-year-old Jack, and wireless play mini-games which kept me and Drew coming back over and over again. This first phase of my life as a gamer was in a time before I used the internet. I knew what it was from school, and knew how to look up questions on Google, which meant that all I really know was what my parents had taught me how to do. This lack of online interaction meant that this phase was almost identical to the 90s kids who came before me. Much like their experiences with home consoles and Game Boys, video games were something that you talked about with your siblings and your friends at school, maybe your mom and dad if they were cool, but that was pretty much it. Much like these older kids, I had never dreamed of talking about or watching video games online. That was all about to change, though. 3 years after getting my DS, my family purchased a Wii to celebrate my 5th grade graduation. Middle school-bound Jack was more than happy to spend his summer playing Mario Kart and Wii Sports with his brothers, but my experience changed dramatically when I was introduced to a little thing called YouTube on my dad's iPad. It was here that I discovered the big wide world of watching other people play Mario. Eventually, though, the YouTube algorithm, still in its infancy, sent me something I'd never seen before. A game with cartoonish-like graphics like a Nintendo game. Excited, I clicked on the link for this strange new game, and was met with Minecraft. Now, Minecraft is huge. It's impossible to say how significant Minecraft is to this entire thesis. Minecraft served as pretty much the foundation of gaming on YouTube. For some reason, Minecraft videos were picked up by the YouTube algorithm, and soon enough after the game's first wave of popularity, every child in the West with an iPad and internet connection had seen a Minecraft Hunger Games video. Names like Sky Does Minecraft, Paul Soares Jr., Dan TDM, and the Yogs Cast became icons of entertainment in my developing mind. Through Minecraft YouTube, I, like so many others, was introduced to the absurd concept of watching other people play video games.
Well, maybe I get Twitch, but I just think people watching other people play video games is a waste of fucking time.
This is the thing that really sets us apart as a generation. No one really understands the appeal of this type of content until they try it. See, the world of video games is diverse, it's deep, and ever-growing. In the 90s, kids could be versed in all the popular video games of the day just by owning them or by just playing them at a friend's house. When the kids of the 2000s came along, games had already become an entertainment mainstay. Game catalogs were overwhelming, and this is precisely what gave certain YouTube channels their appeal. You could play thousands of games without ever picking them up. Channels like Did You Know Gaming made the history of the video game industry easy to digest and fun to learn about. This all brings me to the main piece of evidence for my point. A game which has defined the experiences of many gamers from both my generation and those previous. Super Mario 64. Now, Mario 64 was revolutionary when it released, spawning the 3D platformer genre, and even modern games sometimes fail to live up to the standards for movement and level design in this nearly 30-year-old game. You could argue Mario 64 made Mario into the household name he is today, the genre-crossing icon of the video game industry. Most gamers at the very least respect, if not revere, this game, which defined a generation of consoles, spawned a whole new genre of games, and continues to have one of the biggest speedrunning communities to this day. I know the layouts of most of the levels of this game like the back of my hand, know how to perform complex speedrunning strats and ideal pathing throughout the game, and know about the history of the game's development and its impacts on the industry as a whole. But there's something I've not told you yet about my relationship with this game. I've never played Super Mario 64. To someone unfamiliar with the Gen Z gaming experience, this would seem absurd. No gamer in the 90s would understand knowing this much about a game you've never played. But it's true. Despite having countless opportunities to play Mario 64, I've just never gotten around to it. I love this game because of the very thing that defines my generation's relationship with games: online communities. I've wasted countless hours of my life watching speedruns of this game, as well as so many others. I've watched videos about its development, the secret code hidden in beta versions of the game. I know the difference between L is real and Eternal Star, and goddammit, I know about parallel universes. This game has been the cornerstone of Nintendo content on YouTube since the site's inception. I've never played it for precisely that reason. The content produced by talented and charismatic creators on this site supplants my need to play the game. Is this a bad thing? I don't really think so. Without gaming channels here on YouTube, there are so many things I would have never been exposed to. I never would have found some of my favorite games and series like Sonic or Portal, while watching a Let's Play might save me time and money and prevent me from economically stimulating the games industry. It allows me to be a more knowledgeable consumer and be an active participant in the communities of so many games which I never would have had the time to play or never would have found my passion for. Maybe one day I'll play Mario 64. I know I'll have a blast when I do. But until then, I'm going to continue to annoy my girlfriend with my obscure knowledge of it, and other useless facts about the announcer from Super Monkey Ball or the sound test menu from Sonic CD, or pretty much anything about the Philips CDI, because that's what the Gen Z gaming experience is. Engaging with games and with people you never would have before, all because you found some forum, video, post, blog, or thread you liked. And I'm here for it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you made it all the way to the end, I'd just like to thank you for giving me the time of day. Video essays are a format I'm experimenting with, and I'd appreciate your feedback because I'd really like to keep making these types of videos. It was really fun to write. That being said, I'd like to take this moment to remind everyone to please subscribe if you like the video and leave a comment, because for some reason that really helps me get into people's recommendations. Finally, I'd like to plug a channel much like the ones I've been talking about this whole time, MegaDan. He's an amazingly talented gaming YouTuber who makes very condensed reviews and breaks down news from the gaming world, and I love his content, and I think all of you would too. There's no fluff, and he always gets right to the point, so check him out if you get the chance. Alright, that's all for now. Remember to subscribe, and don't forget what Ronald Reagan took from you.